Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Gamestah TV for some more Heroes of the Storm action. We are into map number 3, Reborn and Reality, both taking out one map each. This time we're going to Tomb of the Spider Queen, and I'm going to pass it back to the man who is so cool that he taught Fonzie how to do it, Skimmy.
Don't know where that one came from, but thank you, Kev Fox. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, back. Game number 3 of the Showmatch. Couldn't have asked for anything better. Vandie, how have you been enjoying this so far?
Loving it. The fact that it's gone to the third match of a best of 3 is always the best. You just know that this is do or die for them now, and I'm loving it.
Absolutely loving it. The draft kicks off just like that, so we've got that synergy. It is Tomb of the Spider Queen, as we mentioned before. This is the nail clincher, the series finisher. And it's an interesting map because it gets a lot of flack for how slow the objective is. But personally, I think it's an interesting dynamic.
I think it's an interesting dynamic. I mean, collect the spider butts, turn them in, get a crazy spider queen. What's not to love?
What's not to love? Unless you have an arachnophobia, well, that's understandable.
Oh yeah, you wouldn't want to see this one. No siree. And instantly we see Reality banning out Kerrigan. What are your thoughts on that one, Skimmy?
Yeah, banning out the Kerrigan. I mean, it seems to be the same denominator as when we look at Infernal Shrines, right? Small map, tons of choke points, a scary pick, really. And it's a Queen of Blades. More blades, really has that synergy with the spider.
Yeah, indeed. You just don't want to deal with that. No siree. And like you said, she just gets that Ravage out and she just jumps around and she just, nah, we don't want to deal with her. They're saying, not today.
An interesting thing to bring up is we saw a lot of the times negative synergy in the Season 3 finals ban our way to Zagara. Now, Zagara is a very proficient pick on this map as well. Wondering if we'll see Reborn go for it. Their drafts have been interesting so far. And once again, they're deliberating on it a little bit. Currently shadowing that Malfurion. And that's an interesting one to see that taken away first of all.
They had a taste of Reality's Malfurion last game, and they were like, no, we don't want that. So they did. He was banned in the first game. He got through in the second game, and I think they're finding out just how irritating he could be. That silence was really doing some work in those choke points there because essentially you just sort of, you can't really react for the 3 seconds that you're silenced. You can just click your character and just sort of be like, oh, this isn't, oh.
Pretty much in that regard. And I would wonder if this Malfurion ban is an almost certain tell that, hey, we want to go for Zagara. Malfurion would really ruin that if he goes for the Tranquility and chucks out regrowths everywhere. But Reality, they're looking for that tank, first of all. ETC and Mirrodin, both great picks against the Zagara. So interesting draft exchanges. We'll have to see how Reborn open this up here with their first 2.
As you said, each team's sort of done their homework on each other, so they're sort of also pre-planning, all right, if Reborn picks up Zagara, who's good against her? And once again, Reborn's also saying, okay, if we want to go, how can we make it as safe of a game as her as possible? But no, they've gone for, I guess, Zul, who's more of a, I don't know, Zul's an interesting one. I find he's more reactive, but they've picked him first, so they must value him a lot. He's great at pushing, he's got some great crowd control, and he can sort of lock down an area quite well, depending on his ult, but I don't know who's first pick worthy.
Well, I'd say this map really is probably the biggest one that really forces you to have wave clear. The fact that Johanna and Leoric is still available, yeah, it's an interesting one. Usually wouldn't see them picked up first of all, but the fact that both tanks have already been locked in, not sure if we'll see that double tank meta, but Zul definitely can clear those lanes extremely fast. Can obviously pop a lot of skeletons for that wave clear pressure, but basically says we don't want Zagara, but this will do just as well.
Zagara is more of a sitting duck, whereas Zul, at least he can escape and he's more durable. And oh my goodness, if they pick Alarak, it might be the first time we've seen Alarak. Oh, and just like that, snatched away from us. Back to Valor.
No, broken dreams. Hopes and dreams were shattered in that moment. We're going to go for the stock standard Valor. Why not? She's so strong in this current meta really as well. There's no need to let her go for the draft. Falstad is still on the board. Are they going to go for the double pick?
I'm thinking Reality might want to pick their specialist soon. I'm not sure, but I mean, there's no hurry now that Zul's been taken, so they might just sit on it, do it as the last pick. I'm just interested to see who they pick. I'm thinking maybe a Sylvanas we'll see, or I don't know if they want to try, I guess, revamp Zebo. I don't know if people are quite happy with his changes as much as the other champions. Oh, there's an Alarak!
They do go for the Alarak, so a lot of deliberation and thought gone into that one. They were going to go for it straight away, but I suppose the team had to really decide, okay, are we sure we want this? Now, if I was to guess, I'm looking at the lobby and I see Hack with that icon, I would say that would be Hack playing Alarak. So I'm excited to see, because that does a lot of damage, and the displacement, well, it's a cool new mechanic to bring into the fold of things.
Personally, my own experiences versus an Alarak have been horrible. I quite find him very obnoxious to deal with. And in the right hands, in professional hands, I feel like he could be quite annoying. But in saying that, in the professional stance, you know how to deal with him better. Instead of me just sort of sitting there going like, oh my gosh, not again.
And this, I suppose, infuriated. I've seen some pretty annoying comps, like say for example, Battlefield of Eternity. You just drag them back into that Punisher, and well, hey, look at that, you're stunned now from the PvE elements. So interesting mechanics there. It's almost like you have a 6th player. But well, Reborn, they're going to go for the Zagara. They think, yeah, we know they're going to take it. We know we'd like to take it, but let's ban it away from them instead. Reality now currently hovering that Medivh, saying, well, we want you to play the Falstead, so don't have your Medivh.
It's these sort of mind games now, isn't it? They're just saying, all right, you pick this, we'll pick this. They're all trying to counter each other on what they're going to pick. And in saying that, I think Reborn's going to start picking up their damage. They have to, surely.
They do need some beefy damage right now. They have a lot of options at their disposal. We've still got Li Ming on the cards, Kel'Thas, Tychus. A lot of options really to consider. And you mentioned a Nazeebo before. Not sure where Nazeebo fits in the meta right now. I know on Battlefield of Eternity, somebody actually said that he does so much damage when it comes to the PvE element. But you can see there, Oriel, God tier healer, tons of healing that can really just be brought about. And it shows that this is a team that wants to skirmish. They've just got to decide what assassin they want to complement it with.
They need someone, I guess, who can hit hard and hit often, because that's the best way to generate up Oriel's energy so that she can keep the team topped up. So hopefully someone with sustained damage. I see them hovering on Li Ming, but I feel like Tychus would go better for that purpose, unless they're going to pick their mage last.
Interesting. They do go for the Li Ming, so guaranteed damage, I suppose you could say, really trying to play on the fact that they have that coordination. They can look for the resets. And you could see how close Ninja was last game, 50 health. You can almost say if they'd won that team fight, the game would have gone completely differently.
Oh, definitely. Like the fact that Valor walked away. We talked about Benjamin living on that sliver, but the fact that it happened right back at them and Ninja couldn't get those all-important resets, that's how you best deny Li Ming. You just don't die. And kind of wave it in fair. It's like, no. It's exactly what happened. Ninja was just like, oh my gosh, I know I can kill them. Can you just die?
You can almost see it's like almost like the deja vu, like have a bit of a taste of your own medicine. This is what it felt like when we couldn't kill you, so now you can't do it to us. And hey, look at that, we actually can win the game. I think you could see them deliberating around it for a little bit of time, and then they decided, hey, let's just pull the pin, let's just go for the win. Ufa, though, is going to be locked in. Now they've got, 10 seconds to decide. Is it Sylvanas for the pushing potential, or is it Sergeant Hammer for the sieging potential?
We've seen a lot of Hammer Hobbit, and she's been locked in. There you go. I think that's smart. She's got definitely enough support backing her up. We've got, Alarak, who can cause a lot of disruption and confusion. We've got Muradin, and then Val sort of in the backline, Uther keeping them all safe. So they're going to have to, Reborn's basically going to have to play Get to the Hammer. Especially when she's set up.
Well, if they try to commit and, say, blow her up, well, there's a Divine Shield. That can really just ruin your day if you need to try and run away from her. Well, hey, Alarak's going to bring you back into the fold. But look at that. That is Lunara. Lahal, shout out to yourself, my friend, because that is your pick. And this is Reborn bringing it in for the best of 3 series to really clinch the series.
That's it. All right, pen on paper. Whose team do you favor? We seem to be doing an all right job of sort of calling it based on our sort of paper picks, as I'll call them.
Well, I'm going to think about this one. I like the fact of Reborn because Oriel and Lunara, they're best mates. That really is what you were talking about before. Somebody that can really allow her to generate that energy. You spread it across everyone, and Oriel was chucking out heals like, she's a pizza deliverer. So it's an interesting one to really think. I'm going to go for Reality because I just love the fact that Sergeant Hammer's been drafted, and I want to see how Alarak performs in the competitive circuit.
If Alarak's allowed to do what his design allows him to do, basically get in there, stick on Li Ming and Lunara and assassinate them before they know what's going on, or even Ariel as well. Once you get silenced, that heal means nothing. That godlike heal, it means nothing. So if he's allowed to do what he does, I feel like Reborn's going to have a hard game on their hands. So I'm also favoring Reality just based on this sort of drafting stage.
Interesting analysis there. We seeing if we can win our bets, I suppose. It's betting for Pride on our end. It's betting for Pride really on their side too. They're trying to just get as much practice in and keep the ANZ scene up there. And really, I suppose, give Reborn the best experience, the best practice conditions going forward for when they represent us overseas in a couple of weeks' time. But we're going to wait for the final member to join up in the lobby. Then we'll get into the game and we'll bring you some quality ANZ Heroes action.
Just a quick word, ladies and gentlemen. Just if we can get the 50 viewers in, we can initiate the mug giveaway. We are on our last map at the moment. We're about 15 away. So if you've got any friends that are just sitting around twiddling their thumbs, whatever they're doing on this Tuesday night, get them in, and we may be able to give away a mug thanks to Ronnie's custom mug. And big thanks again to Zowie, Challenge, Player.me, and all our other sponsors for this evening. XSplit as well, and Skimmy. We were just waiting for that last player to get in. Tomb of the Spider Queen, get excited. Map number 3, Reborn versus Reality.
That's not a bad idea, actually, to get a mug like that, Vandie. I reckon, I mean, you could get Illidan on it, and you could have the caption saying, "You are not prepared," and that could be your little, like, you know, your little dad joke in the morning when you're making your coffee to laugh about to get the day started.
I would frankly love that. And the fact that no one wants this mug is a little bit disheartening. Come on, guys, we're almost there. Surely you all want this mug.
They are awesome mugs as well. If you've ever seen them in the photos on our Twitter, they are really awesome pieces of work.
I personally think I'd get Li Ming on mine because I just adore her so much. But yeah, Illidan's totally fine with me too.
Illidan, one of my favorite. I mean, I play Demon Hunter in World of Warcraft, so I mean, I just had to get in that sort of role-playing mode in the morning. You know, when you're at work, when you're doing study, think about games. Get your head in the game.
Well, of course, that's a clear way you've got. Just that favoritism.
But we're going to get our head into the game very shortly because we're loading in. The draft is done. The lobby is underway. The loading screen is up. Game number 3. One apiece for both sides right now. It is Tomb of the Spider Queen. It's the decider. And we've got our money here on Reality because they've got the new pick. They've got Hack on Alarak.
Oh, that's it, Skimmy. I'm excited. So this is going to be the game that decides it all. Like you said, Reborn versus Reality. It's going to be the game that's sort of, I guess, it's practice for BlizzCon for the Reborn boys. So it's good to see this sort of camaraderie come out in the ANZ Sphere as well as bragging rights.
Bragging rights, really what it comes down to at this stage. No prize pool, no mugs for them, but they'll have that pride that they know when they go to sleep that they are the better team on this day. And we're looking at, on the right-hand side in the red corner, it is Reality. They are led by John, who will be playing that Sergeant Hammer. Katori is on Ufa. Hack is playing Alarak. Vanilla on Vala once more. And Icebold is tanking it up on the Mirrodin.
Left side, Reborn. We have Ninja prancing around on Lunara. Robodoba, ETC, one of his favorites. Dasperts on Oriel. Arcana playing Li Ming. And Benjamin on Zul.
So from a wave clear standpoint, I would say definitely it still feels to be in favor of Reborn. But I really want to see how this Alarak and Hammer combination work together because they have a lot of sustained damage, but burst when they need it to come about. So level 1 shenanigans, it's what we know they do. But Zul already is sitting pretty in that top brush. He's just waiting for somebody to walk on by.
Indeed, he's like, there's no point for me to go out yet, not until the minions die. They're just playing a safe game, but in saying that, it looks like there's a bit of a brawl happening as always. One team trying to get the better of the others. I don't know if anyone's going to be caught out in rotations to the bot lane, because as we can see, there's currently no one sort of responding and going down there just yet.
Yeah, right now it seems to be all the emphasis on clear mid, then respond. I suppose really the level 1 brawl, if anything, is just trying to force the teams out to, either go for a recall or go for that tap. But we have the classic ANZ meta, the 3-2-3 pulls. The message in chat is Vanilla dropped his ice cream. Fair enough, that's a good ice cream flavor to go for. But personally, I'm a Hokey Pokey fan myself.
Oh, that's very, very Kiwi of you to say so. I think I also like a bit of vanilla, but I think I'm a chocolate gal myself.
Oh, choc, man. It would have to be cookies and cream if I'm not from New Zealand. But enough about the ice cream, more about the game. We ramped up the analysis. We reckon we've got our money on Reality. But I mean, looking at these talents, do we see anything that really jumps out?
I mean, I'm seeing ETC take Block Party. It's not unheard of, but it just means that he's intending to get in there and soak damage and just sort of be the tank that he can be. Because Zul, yeah, he's kind of an off-tank, but not really, let's be honest. He's just more there to just mitigate damage. So ETC, Robodoba, he's making sure that he can be as durable and as tanky as possible.
Absolutely. And hey, another point of contention is what do you reckon about this Mirrodin pick? He's gone for third wind, really means that his passive healing restoration is that much higher, looking to really go for the sustained fights.
Exactly the same thoughts on his end. He just wants to make sure he can be there, sustain as much as possible, and give Hack and give Vanilla the best chance of doing damage while he's all up in their faces, I guess, and make sure that no one touches John.
And John will be keeping a very close eye on his concussive blast, making sure ETC or anyone for that fact can actually jump on him and get a lot of damage. But you can see right now, they just seem to be bouncing between no exclusive bottom laner. They just want to play their clear game. And, you know, John is going to be extremely slow when it comes to these hammer rotations. So if Reborn can capitalize on this, they might get some easy kills.
Definitely. And I mean, they're going to have to watch out for Hack. He's taken the increased telekinesis range. So that means he's going to be pushing around Reborn team members as he sort of pleases and setting them up for, I guess, chain lock. So they just need to be mindful and wary of that, especially if you're on the squishier side of things.
And you can see I suppose the attention really from both teams, it's in different places. Right now, Hack has gone for that adopted laning role. He's sitting in the bottom lane, forced to go for the tap because he took a bit of damage from both the dealers of the damage from Reborn's side. But Ben, well, he's playing passive. He's just waiting for those talents to be acquired. It can be so frustrating if he goes for that full skeleton build. Passive mana, passive healing. You don't even need to tap. You never need to go back. You're just a constant nuisance.
A constant push. It's like Murky, but you don't die. And that's essentially what Zul then becomes. He's just got infinite lane sustain. As you said, it's hard to just sort of pry him out unless you send more than one team member to deal with it, I guess.
And that's what they're really doing right now. They've every time they've gone for that top lane, they've sent 2 members there. You can see Rob just before went for the slide on Vanilla, but his reaction timing was on point. You could have really seen that follow-up from Dasperts with the Detainment Strike coming through as well. And that would have been Curtains, that would have been First Blood, but it's still just a passive game. And this tends to be the case in this map, is both teams just bounce between lanes. They can get kills if they can find them, but otherwise they won't overextend. They just want the 50. But here, in saying that we might see the First Blood, it's the Caster's Curse. Arcana drops down. First Blood for reality.
Oh, those rotations were quite solid right there, but now Hack getting a little bit too close for comfort there, but he manages to push himself away, but instead Icebolt is the one to fall there. Unlucky. Basically, whoever Zul kind of gets with the Skeleton Prison is the one that's going to fall.
Kill for kill, but in favor, actually, of Reborn there, because you can see the gem count is still much higher. A lot of gems were dropped there by Icebolt, being the tankiest character, expecting to be able to hold on to those quite comfortably. So, small advantages like that, they do add up, 45 to 50, and they'll have their very first set of Web Weavers donning the map.
And I mean, they're going to want to get that first turn in. It really can help, especially if you get a big push off of that to get that experience lead and get that all-important 10. So essentially, I find that I always fight the hardest for the first turn in because it can give you such a good advantage on this map. But you have to be careful that you don't get picked off when you're turning them in.
Yeah, you got to make sure that you can really, I suppose, hand them in for free. And right now, look at this. You can see reality just saying, no, Arcana, you have free, but even free are just too many for us to actually let you hand in. For free, if we're going to jump with that pun line, but you can see the damage is coming across. Daspy does get a Detainment Strike, he catches onto Katori, but he punishes himself really as a result, because he just drops down, he gets the stun, but he gets stunned. He drops 6 to 6, 2 to 1. Kills are in favor right now of reality, and that is a nice little skirmish for them, because it just holds up this whole hand-in process.
Definitely. I mean, that was tons of damage there on Dasperts, and I don't think he actually realized what was happening. I thought he looked like he thought he was confident enough to burst heal it back up, but then it didn't quite connect. He was like, uh-oh. That's awkward. So now we see the gems are sort of getting even. We're seeing that reality are getting close to their own turn in, and they're going to be start looking for it, I guess.
Yeah, well, you can see that this is Lunara that has the main hold of things. 12 are required, well, 9 now, as the rest of the team are starting to hand in theirs, but she's the main target, really looking to try and get these in, and with that number deficit in mind, it just allows 41 to be deposited by the side of reality. It's anyone's game now, 41 to 41. It's even Stevens. The fight breaks out. Icebolt not deterred by the fact he's 800 health. He will get in your face, and he will really abuse both the well and that passive.
Did you see Hack just trying to do that sneaky little turn in there, and Dasperts managed to get there on time, distract long enough so that his team, that Reborn, could get the first turn in. Nice job.
Nice little job there, and that's going to allow them to push on through because they've hit level 8, and this will just spore out of control because I say, you know, they're going to have that XP lead, they're going to have the pushing potential, lanes are going to push in their favor, they've got the Web Weavers dropping on down soon, and this is what they're going to look to try and achieve. If they can get 10 off this, they're going to find themselves in a very good situation.
And saying that, Hack's finding himself in a bit of an awkward situation there. If he can't make... Oh my goodness! I was about to say, if he can't make it to the fountain, he is going to say sayonara there with the poison ticking down on him.
Team knows though that he's still there. Oh, damn, the poison came across, but Hack just got the clipping animation across. Finds his way home. But that's cheeky. because he had vision. Ninja still had the poison ticking away on him. So he could have been punished quite hard there when he needed not to.
So Benjamin Bailey on just a nick of time after doing quite a strong push up there, but Robodoba now in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, there we go. Seems Reality find another kill, 3-1 right now. They're just doing a great job of sticking as a unit, sticking as a team, but they're going to get punished here because Vanilla just strayed too far from the herd, finds herself up against the wall, and Daspirds with the rest of the team get that kill.
That was very nicely played by Daspirds. His detainment strike slapping Val against the wall, locking her in there for them to just blow up essentially. So you've got to be careful with Terrain and Oriole because one detainment strike and you're suddenly a sitting duck and everyone's going to collapse on you.
And you can see, look at Lunara, gone for the Fawnwood Vine, or as I like to call it, the Whiplash, as we see tons of damage go across the entire unit of Reality. Watch that one in these team fights because the control is really going to come from the fact that we've got Skeletal Mages and the Mosh Pit. Plenty of damage for this team on the side of Reality to deal with. And Ufa's going to have a hard time dealing with all this.
They will. I mean, now they're kind of forced to be a bit more on the defensive side, but we've got Reborn sort of tentatively... They learn, I guess, a little bit from the mistakes last game. They know they have to bail out earlier because that's what lost them the game, essentially, last game.
Yeah, they burnt a couple of ultimates in the top side for Vanilla. Vanilla did get dropped down to 300, but the fault still in place. Skeletal Mage is not really achieving too much because the Vault came across first, really allowing her to get out with her life there. Great job.
And now we see Reality have picked up their ultimates as well, so it's going to be a fair fighting field this time around.
Yeah, we're going to see in the mid-hand side that, yeah, standard stuff across the board. We got Napalm Strike. Wouldn't expect to see that BFG. Would be extremely surprised. Does look pretty cool with the animation, but animations don't win games. Skills do, and John is so aggressive, almost baiting in Li Ming. Is Li Ming going to get punished as a result? Maybe so. She's jumped in. She gets the reset, and that's going to be enough to get her out of harm's way. She does have that Calamity, actually, sorry, Dominance, allowing her to get the reset heals. Jumps out of harm's way. Baits Sergeant Hammett, almost feeling that he had got the kill. She, if you're talking about the character, but Rob is now jumping into the fray of things. He's found a jewel in the bottom-hand side. He's got Ben in support. Can't really achieve too much. They burn a Divine Shield, and that's a win really for their side.
I mean, we saw Icebolt kind of going in there. He was like, I've got you, Arcana, but Daspirds was like, I've got you, pal, and just instantly healed him back up, and then it immediately sort of put Icebolt in a bit of a strange situation. He's like, oh, you're no longer killable. But luckily he managed to get out without too much drama. It was well executed by both sides, I guess. They're just, they're showing a lot of control.
Well, they are showing a lot of control. You can see the Rain of Vengeance was ready to go straight after that Aegis expired, but it just wasn't enough. Li Ming doing Li Ming things, finding kills, finding the resets, and as soon as that reset goes across, it's like a stack of domino cards. They just fall over one by one, and the fight goes south. 2-level lead right now. It seems to be the story of what Reborn are known for, finding those advantages, finding those opportunities right now, and they're doing a great job at that. 9 gems needed to be handed in by Reality, but Reborn are not going to let them do that.
They're fighting hard for it, and Benjamin there getting the root down on Icebolt, who's in a lot of trouble, dropping fast.
Look at that, he just dropped down to 400 health, he just doesn't care, and his team say, well, we can't do anything to protect you. Divine Shield was down for 15 seconds. As a result, the tank drops. The second tank, if you class Sergeant Hammett for the Bants as a tank, drops as well. Arcana is just tanking the world. He's just looking for kills, does not care about where he is, and he zones the rest of the team away.
Sorry, to add insult to injury as well, this person was turning in that whole time doing that little mini skirmish. He didn't even bat an eye. He's like, well, you guys got it under control. Here's the turn for you guys.
Well, cheeky plays here. Confident plays, really, by Reborn. This is their map choice. They know what they want to do when it comes to this one. And, well, they're looking to now break the siege in towards this mid-keep and really control that pressure.
It's good to see, I mean, with Reality, it's good to see that they're sticking as a group. A lot of the time when you're trying to deal with the threat of, I guess, the Spider Queens as well as the imposing presence, you sort of split up, and that's when, I guess, you lose keeps and you lose forts because suddenly you have to go and answer to something else, and then everyone's suddenly attacking that fortification. So it's good to see them sticking together as much as they can.
Well, maybe their draft's just a little bit too quirky right now because they have not found the engagements that they're after, and this might just be another diminishing blow in towards an Icebolt. Caught once again. He's down to 280. The poison is ticking. His passive is not going to kick in just yet, and that is the insurance. Disintegrate comes across. Li Ming not taking any chances of that one, and once again the tank is down for 20 seconds. Not much that they can do, and that's a second keep dropping. And this is really Reborn stamping their mark and placing their authority on this game.
It almost looked as though Arcanus sort of just sniped him out of the corner of his eye. He's like, yep, all right, little guarantee I get a reset. All good. And once again, oh my goodness, the clutch.
Divine Shield coming out, almost necessary. There's no point just hanging on to that one. Make sure he lives. Make sure he can get amongst it because Myrden is back alive. They can have a 5v5 skirmish potentially before 16 is acquired. 2 talent tiers down. Might be the story of this one, Vandie. It is dire.
It's not looking good for Reality. No, not as good as the last game where they had it in control. It looks like now they're just sort of scrambling to get back in it, get back in the game, but they can't get that all-important turn in. Not yet, because we see Reborn trying to be very aggressive, make sure they're all over the map, make sure they're, anticipating Reality's move now. This is what happens when you sort of fall behind on levels. You have to immediately play very defensively, play very carefully, and then it's just sort of, it can kind of go from there. So Reborn now have all the time in the world.
All the time in the world to really dictate how this has gone. They've got the first hand in, and from then on, they have not shown any signs of slowing down. 16-12, what a crazy prospect that is to think about. 41 gems on the side of Reality that were handed in. Nothing has happened since the early game. They've begun the boss, but now they're sitting in the brush. They're waiting for somebody to face check. There goes the Hungering Arrow from Vanilla, only spotting one, but they get the flank from the side. Skeletal Mages are pop, slows down the retreat. They are looking for that turnaround, and Rob is being so patient right now with that mosh pit, waiting for stuns, waiting for CC to be used. One Rain Adventure charge gone, the second gone. He doesn't even need to use the mosh pit. Shrink Ray was used, Sergeant Hammer is gone, but this Lunara and Arcana alone are just doing so much work. He might go for the mosh pit now. He doesn't even need to. They're going to go for another siege. They've taken out one. That's all they need to do. Potentially looking for a second keep. Make that a third, I should say. And, it's Reborn looking to close this game out, I would say, Vandie.
Indeed. I mean, it's interesting. I'd be keen to hear your thoughts on what Reality could have done there. Should they have, stayed for the boss? Should they have just sort of given it up to Reborn and then dealt with it then? It's always that hard decision to make because top was their only final keep left, and that's exactly where boss was going to go. So, I don't know.
Yeah, desperation really coming out of them as they've just been taken apart one by one by one. Not much Kentori could do. He's got no Divine Shield for 60 seconds. John is, he's frustrated. He's chucking out as much damage as he can, but it's just not going to be enough. If he goes into that siege for the extra damage, he's just going to get collapsed upon. Looks to be Reborn will take out this show match, or will they? Am I going to get cut off here? Am I going to play myself? Maybe not, because we're down to 50%. They do pick up the kill on Urfa. The Divine Holy Spirit going to top up as much as they can. Hack going to try and do wonderful things. It's not going to be enough. GG Reborn. They are your winner. 2-1 in this series.
They just sort of clinched that game there. Exactly what they wanted, and they sort of baited out that boss fight to sort of make, I guess, a bit of a questionable decision there for Reality. I think it would have been better to not sort of be scrambling because they didn't really get to have a proper team fight. Like you said, ETC didn't even need to use Mosh Pit. So they were just running away for their lives and getting picked off there. Lunara's poison slowing them down. Benjamin throwing down the stun, making sure they snared them in his bone prism. It's just, it's a bit painful to watch.
The coming together of everything really with that comp almost seemed a bit more synergistic, so to speak. Reality maybe thinking a little bit too outside the box, or maybe just not really, I suppose, having a strategy to deploy on this map up against what Reborn had. But a great series nonetheless. Hope you at home on Twitch enjoyed it as well. But for now, chucking it back over to Kit Fox to close things out.
Oh, well, what a great exhibition match we saw tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Well done to Skimmy, who moves into the play-by-play commentary position, and well done to Vandie for the first time on Gamestah TV. Well done to both those casters. Thank you again to the viewers for tuning in. We didn't quite get the 50 to give away the mug, unfortunately, but next time there's always hope. Don't forget, your teams can enter this series. Hopefully we'll get enough teams to get it up and running. The scene is still alive within the next week, so hopefully get your teams together, get involved, and we hope to see you there. Thanks again to Zowie, Challenge, Player.me, XSplit, Producer Crisis, the man behind the curtain, and my name is Kit Fox. Thank you again all. We'll see you here at Gamestah TV next time.